Welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody. You know what time it is.
Well, it's time to get stroked up. You already know the answer to that.
Man, it wouldn't be right if they wasn't getting stroked up. By this time, they know how we do it. Welcome back. You know us, Strok'D, the art of mental stimulation, where we touch subjects at depths that most people aren't willing to go. We don't hold back, man. We put it all on the table. We let it all hang out. You know how we like it. We like it deep. We like it raw. We don't leave nothing out.
Well, you know, I got a question for you. I wouldn't understand for a simple fact that if we created our own atmosphere, what would be the result?
I think every day people are creating their own atmosphere, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think when I think of the word atmosphere, not thinking about the world, the gas, talking about the stratosphere and all that type of stuff. I'm talking about your circle. Talking about the energy and the people that you keep around you, man. I think it says a lot about you and it kind of defines you unknowingly sometimes.
Well, sometimes I just want people to look a word up. You know, we speak English, right? We're hearing people, and I almost just want to be like, look up atmosphere and look up stratosphere and get back with us, you know, because if you're not building the proper circle for yourself,
okay,
you're not creating the right atmosphere.
Like I said,
and you never get past the stratosphere.
Right. And sometimes, I mean, you don't realize how much your circle means and how much it defines you. Like, you could be trying to do better in your life. You could be trying to do these great things. You can want to do better in your life. But if you look around you and the people, not to sound cliche, they have a thing that say if you hang around 4 broke people or 4 negative-minded people, you're going to be the 5th eventually. It's like a poison. It gets into your pores. It gets into your skin. They say that. So as much as you try to fight it, I mean, it's kind of going to play a big role in it.
Well, you know, you only bring me to this particular question when it comes to that. If you put 10 people in a room and if 9 were negative and 1 was positive, what do you think happens to the room?
That's that poison thing. You're going to become the 10th negative person.
Right. I mean, it's real simple. So we got to understand that our atmosphere is something that's up to us.
Okay.
If you're not building yourself, if you're not finding your own self-love, your own happiness, your own peace, your own joy, and you're not trying to create that around you,
okay,
you're not contributing to the atmosphere you really want.
And they always say you really shouldn't be the smartest person in the room. I mean, you shouldn't be happy to say you're the smartest person in the room. You should get in a room full of other people who strive for things that just as high as you or higher than you. You can't be afraid of that, thinking that if you get in that room, I mean, you'll be second to somebody or I won't be as good as them. You can't think like that. I mean, you got to get in, open your mind, take notes, put what you have on the table too. Let them know you're capable and then go with it. Don't be afraid of that thing. Don't be around people who just are happy to be stuck in that same place. What they call that word?
What?
When you're happy to be stuck in that same place, it is...
Complacent?
Complacent. That's the one.
Oh, my God,
yeah,
man. You know, my biggest problem with us as people, if we don't think we can speak in a room, maybe we're in the wrong room.
You are in the wrong room, man.
If you can't be elevated by the people that's in the room and then start to contribute, at some point, something should pull at you. Something within you should be innate.
Right. And I don't like to, I'm not judging anyone because there may be some people listening to this that was in my circle before, and I don't want them to take it personally, and it might not just be you. It might be somebody else around the circle. But once upon a time in my life, that was my story. That's a lot of our story right now. I was how I am now. My mind's always been like this, always been deep. I always had the desire to go deep. But I was hanging around people who were just happy day in and day out, smoking all day, drinking all day. Nothing wrong with that if you're being productive as well, but they were kind of content in that environment. That's what they wanted to do. So I was miserable. I was miserable sitting there. I'll talk about big ideas and stuff like that, but it'll get thrown to the left and, you get back on the gossip of the day.
Or dismissed, right? Dismissed. Like as you said. And sometimes can't even see the vision that you have within yourself, right?
Right.
You know, I'm grateful and privileged to be around you as well, because one of the things that you and I do for each other is we constantly challenge each other.
Right.
You know, you can say something, if I don't agree with it, I'll speak my mind.
Yeah, right.
And likewise and vice versa, right? Mm-hmm. You know, one of our biggest problems is we don't put that type of atmosphere around us.
Right.
Somebody that's actually trying to build us up, challenge us.
Okay.
And it's okay to be criticized by one another. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a part of your atmosphere. Right.
And we continually elevate each other. I mean, let this man sit here. If he got a new book and he reading it and I'm looking at it, it's some philosophy, something super deep or whatever. I'm like, man, I Got to get on that, because the higher he go, I'm right there too. I mean, it's like it's a constant thing, man. You can't see me, but I got my hands stacking on top
Don't
of each other,
gases
man.
build up?
Yeah, they do, man.
I mean, I'm confused.
I mean, you know, they come out different places, but
anyway, you know, natural is natural, right?
Natural
Through
is
nature,
natural,
we nurture.
Right.
So if we're not doing those things for each other, then guess what? We're not actually building the proper atmosphere around us, because we're supposed to nurture. We have to be natural.
Got you.
Right? You know, those are real facts, even though we plan and we're being playful with people. But at the end of the day, you got to understand what these words truly mean.
And you got to be mindful of energy as well, because some people I speak of, I mean, I had times I'll say dreams and stuff, and they were supportive of me. They'll listen, even though in their mind, to them, it's just that. It's just a dream, because they can't see, they only can see as far as themselves. So I could talk about these things, they'll be able to support me, whatever. But then here you go. They talking about something negative that's going on in their life, or something negative they saw, or some gossip they saw. And I mean, and you take that stuff in. You don't realize it, but negative energy is consuming you. It goes inside of your body.
Well, what's around you is in you if you're not careful.
Right.
You know, what's around you is in you.
It's in you, man. And I was just getting tired and getting to that point, and I used to pray for it, man. I prayed for this moment right here with you and I and some of the other people that I surround myself with. I prayed for it. It's like, man, God, I pray that you change my circle. I pray that you put like-minded people in the circle that's just like me, or, you know, above me. I'm not afraid of that, man. Put me in those rooms, Lord God. Open that door up. I mean, I'm ready to walk through. These are the type of prayers I had, because I knew I belonged somewhere different. All
right, so there's a saying that you're supposed to work in harmony with your prayer, right? So my question becomes, what are we supposed to do when people are not contributing to that atmosphere? Let's say they're smoldering or smothering or anything negative to the atmosphere.
I want to say, do you give them a chance to try to change? Do you communicate and voice that, or you know, kind of be afraid that somebody might take offense and you think you're better than me? Or if you can't communicate, I say you have to remove yourself from the situation.
Man, I was right there with you on that word, communicate.
Right.
We have to dialogue with one another. If we're not trying to communicate and build our atmosphere, then our atmosphere can diminish, and we can find ourselves isolated in a gastric situation. In other words, the gases could be so harsh that it kills us instead of building us.
But what if you find yourself hanging around some people or a person where the gap is so big that even if you try to communicate and explain it, it just wouldn't comprehend it? Not saying they're stupid or dumb or something, but they're just on an entirely different level. That was some type of gap that I had between the type of people that I were around at one point.
Well, grace is afforded us, right?
Yeah, it is.
Then we show grace back.
And I always try, but you know what I did try to do? I used to try to elevate them to the point that I was at. I used to try to help them, like, hey, you know, you say you into this, you know, I made business flyers. I've done all kind of stuff with ideas these people had, and it just wasn't a room for me, man. Like, I love them to death, nothing against them.
Keep it moving.
Right, keep it moving.
Yeah, at that particular point, you just keep it moving. It doesn't mean that you are telling them that you are ending them. Right. It shouldn't mean that. I mean, that's a person. If
they elevate, I'm still here. Come in this room.
And here's the other thing that people don't understand. Certain atmospheres exist in this world, right? There's a spirit that exists in the world. Now, it's up to you to try to choose darkness or light, right? And understand that both encompass you. That you could be any one of those particles at any particular time. Right. But at the end of the day, if you're not on the same path and you're not trying to create the proper atmosphere around you and me at the same time, then we're not meant for each other at that particular moment. That's it. Right. It doesn't mean that I'm telling you that, oh, you're evil, I can never talk to you again. The same grace that was given me, we give to each other. Right.
Sometimes what you want for yourself, other people don't want that. So in that situation, what do? Do you write them off? I mean, they still could be your friend, but you still got to keep it moving and do what you have to do. But it's just some people just don't have those same visions. They will not have those same visions, man.
But you hope and pray that they will evolve, grow, blossom.
You do. I do it every day, man.
We all do if we create the right atmosphere around each other. Like, we'll take the privileged situation that you and I through our friendship, right? You know, we'll have misunderstandings or I don't think we ever really truly are disconnected. It might feel like that at particular times, but not truly disconnected.
Right.
But one of the things that we both know when we are in each other's presence, there's an atmosphere around us that we probably can't even comprehend through our intellect. That's bigger than us.
Yeah, but I spoke to this person before, and what he told me is you can't be in a room full of doctors and want to be a lawyer and expect them to teach you or tell you how to be a lawyer. You got to be in a room full of people who gonna teach you about law, who's talking about law every day. You can't surround yourself with that, man. Go ahead.
Commonality.
You got to find that, man. It just is what it is. You're not being a bad person. You're not, thinking, like I say, thinking you're better than nobody. It's just the way it goes. That's even your family, man. I ain't saying cut your family off.
No.
But even sometimes if your family been in that circle, they don't see things like you do, man. Like we said before with those dreams and stuff, it's tailor-made to you. And sometimes you got to, what we said, walk through that door, open that window. You got to calm on through, man. You got to get to where you're going.
Well, at the end of the day, what ends up happening, we don't realize certain things, unbeknownst to people, including ourselves, because we are people, is we might not know what's actually influencing us at that particular moment. Right. We got our own concepts in our own mind. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we have outer influences that influences us to act a particular way at any given moment. Right. Mm-hmm. So, I love this particular biblical passage where it says that Jesus came to divide households. See, Jesus was about a purpose. Mm-hmm. He was on a mission. He created an atmosphere around him, and his atmosphere was conducive to him.
Boy, you speaking tongues right now, boy. Them words rolling off that tongue. Go ahead on.
Well, we're not going to get started on that one. We'll stimulate the mind simply at this particular time.
I got you, brother.
But, that's one of our biggest problems, and that's how we create disconnects between us. All our atmospheres should be the same. Mm-hmm. It really should.
Sometimes I also think with people in their circles, I think what causes you to hang around people or be around people who may have that energy, who may not be trying to go where you're trying to go, I think it's fear also, because you're comfortable. You're afraid. You want these things, but you're afraid to move. You want somebody to move first. You want somebody else to do it, and you can tag along, whatever. And that may not be the case, man. You might be the pioneer.
And you almost made me think that means the majority of us are followers and not leaders.
Majority of people are followers. But it's okay to be a follower, too,
I guess they say you could only have so many chiefs and so many Indians.
That's the truth, but you got to know how to play your role, too. I'm not opposed to followers as well. You just got to know who to follow.
Well, I'm going to tell you at the end of the day, I think we all should encompass both. I mean, that's reality.
Right.
For example, let's take us. Let's make it personable, right? Mm-hmm. There are times that each of us take leads, and there are each times that we take following as a course of action.
You got to know when to do it, too, Read the room. Read the room, man.
Right. No, feel the atmosphere.
Ooh, I like it. Feel the atmosphere, man. But, don't let that negative energy exist around you, man. If you got someone just every day, they just dumping it into you. And I know every day, I know y'all have been here. You thinking in your head, I don't want to hear this no more. Man, this get on my nerves, man. I'm tired of hearing this every time I come around them. It's the same story. It could be 5 years. It could be 10 years, and they pick up right where they left off with the same story, man. And it's sad, but, you can't do that to yourself, man. Put yourself in those environments that are going to elevate you.
We should. One of the things that I learned a long time ago, I'm young. Let's establish that. But one of the things that we actually have to do for each other is edify each other. We're supposed to build each other up. Mm-hmm. See, an atmosphere elevates. Mm-hmm. It does not reside on the ground. Mm-hmm. It's above.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's all around.
It's all around, man.
Right? That's what we're supposed to be a representation of. Mm-hmm. So when we're around each other as friends, or we're trying to develop some type of relationship, the influence should only edify. Right. It should elevate you.
At all times. It should, man. That's what we should be about, elevating each other. Right. I remember one
gases
time.
Gases can make you laugh, by the way.
Gases, laughing gas, like from the Denny's?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I remember one time I was back visiting where I come from. I'm not saying people's name on here or whatever, but I was hanging with some people in this circle that I was in once upon a time. And I remember sitting around. We was at his house. It was a guy, and he was like, and it wasn't the best neighborhood, not the most favorable situation. And we were sitting there. And he was like, I'm good. He was like, man, I've lived my life. He was like, I got this house. I got everything I need. And I'm looking around at the house, not judging, but I'm looking around. And then he said he got everything he need. I know what he does. I know where he's at in life. And I'm like, dude, you done it. You're like, you're 29. Dude was 29 saying this, like 29 or 30. And he was like, he was retired. Like, it was over. And I guarantee the way he was working, not, like I say, not judging people. It was a little bit over, maybe minimum wage or a little bit over. And he had this house that I think it was given to him or something. He said he was done. He was satisfied. He was happy.
When I hear you say it that way, I think of complacency, and I think about being stagnant.
Yeah.
Stale. Mm-hmm. And I don't think any of us should serve our life in a singular.
Right.
You know, where it's just about you.
Yeah.
Or me.
Exactly.
You know, I've never was raised that way, so that's a hard pill for me to swallow.
Right. I don't know how to get comfortable like that, man. I'm like antsy and I'm moving, but that, like I said, that's me. It's not him. But when I look at him, he's so talented. He's so skilled. He could probably get on this mic. And
I'm sure
he can get on this mic and rock it. But when I saw that, I was like, that's it for him. So I kind of want to, using this platform, I want to get to a place where we can like motivate those type of people who think they're done, they're finished, or got some of that negative energy. They can listen to something like this.
Now
and
you
help them
got to go
out,
to this
man.
particular point. So you know, when we grew up in certain types of environments, and we see ourselves a particular way. And then when we grow past that stage, and then maybe we hit another stage, you know, in other words, you elevate yourself in certain capacities. You might get to a point where you go, oh my goodness, I made it.
Yeah.
And that's all they saw as their vision or their dream. So you have to go backwards.
I get that. That's a great point too. Yeah.
So we might see ourselves only to that. Mm-hmm. And that's a limitation because it's not an atmosphere.
Right.
See, an atmosphere has no limitations because an atmosphere surrounds our Earth.
Mm. And the other planets.
Huh?
And the other planets.
So infinite is an atmosphere.
Infinite is the atmosphere, man.
So what we create around us is infinite. It has no definition, but that particular circle is just the beginning.
And you just created a thought in my mind. You really opened my mind to that. You're right. Maybe the fact I see more for him, but maybe like you said, the fact for where he came from. He probably came from way worse than that. And when he got to the point he had, he was like, I did good. I made it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not terrible at all.
But an accomplishment.
That is an accomplishment.
I pat that man on the back or whoever and tell him, look, I'm grateful to God that you were able to accomplish those things.
But like I said, it was just in my mind, like you said, I see more for him because I'm looking around and I'm thinking, I'm going to say I'm judging against my own vision because I know it's probably because people get tired of me. I know it's to the moon.
You also try to exist with no limitations.
Yeah, I do. But when I seen him, I'm like, dude, you know, you can cook, dude. I open a business now, dude. Don't let me get a studio. You can act. Let's go to Hollywood. You know, I'm always thinking big for everybody, man. But
hold up now. You telling me the person has chef capabilities?
Oh, all that.
And can act?
He's funny. He has a lot going on.
Comedian.
Yeah, that too.
That's too much pressure right there.
No, he can do that. He's that. When you don't even know him and you embodying everything that he is, man. He's great. He's a great guy, man. I just saw that and I was like, I'm hoping that was years ago. I'm hoping at that point then he realized, because I haven't seen him in years, like, hey, I can soar higher than that, man.
Well, you know, that's somebody that we'll keep in our prayers. I'm sure you already do. Mm-hmm. So again, when we talk about an atmosphere, you know, around us, a circle that exists around us, the people that we want in our lives, these are people that will encourage us, will not let us fall off a cliff. Right. In other words, here you go. I always say stuff like, you know, I don't want a doorknob around me. Yeah. You know, a doorknob type person. You know, I turn it, it goes. Whichever way I turn it, it goes. Right. That can't exist around me because that means you would let me walk off a cliff.
Right. You need people who's checks and balances. Someone tell you when you're wrong. Someone tell you we can do a little bit better to be right. You know, I like those type of people around me, man.
But let's be vulnerable and honest. I'm not telling you that's easy.
It's not.
It's not, because there'll be times I'll look at you and go, I don't know what you're talking about, and I don't see what you're saying.
I bet you think about it later, though, by yourself.
Absolutely.
And it'll hit you.
I don't have a choice, you know, because I know God actually made me. So right. I don't have a choice in that regard. But I'm grateful for people that actually are willing to be understanding, patient, because we have to be patient with one another. They say it's a virtuous quality. Right. So we have to do that for each other. We have to afford each other those type of things. Right. Now that's creating an atmosphere that's divine.
Just don't let your atmosphere or your circle be cancer. Don't let it imprison you. If you, like I said, if you're happy right there, I mean, some people life, that's the plan they have, okay. But if you desire more and you just sitting there existing because you think there is nothing more, you're wrong. Get out there. I almost want to say this. I challenge each and every one of you. I challenge each and every one of you who have these feelings, who are around these people who are not thinking like you feel like they're not elevating like you, or they bring you down. I challenge you to step outside of yourself. Find a different person, a person you say, I would never talk to in my life, but you look at what they're doing and it's like, man, I see you. Actually talk to them. Actually step to them and say, hey, let's have lunch or something. I mean, put yourself out there and do something totally different and you get totally different results. They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Right. You know, you can have a smothering atmosphere or a toxic atmosphere. You know, if we're not careful, we can have people around us, and we're all guilty of it. And I've definitely been guilty of being a negative person, you know, in my life. And I can't promise that I'll never make a mistake and have a negative influence at any particular time. One of the things I'm grateful for, you know, being able to communicate is that we can actually dialogue about it if that is happening.
Got you.
But my point back to this is you can have a smoldering, hot, toxic atmosphere and you not see it.
Right.
It could be foggy, smoggy if you live in the West Coast.
Got you.
You know, and all of a sudden you're blind and you're engulfed in where you are.
Got you.
So that means you can't navigate your way, right? You're so blind to that, and it's so toxic that you behave exactly what that atmosphere is.
Yeah, true, man. I mean, I've been part of that myself, though. But now, guess what, guys? You have technology as well. If you don't know anyone around you like that, they got groups and stuff on Facebook. They got all kind of stuff where you can find like-minded communities and you can meet people there. I've done it. I've met people online I've never met a day in my life, and they some of the most supportive people. They more supportive than some people I actually know in real life. So it's different avenues where you can put yourself out there to actually do that, man. So don't just be closed-minded and don't just give up and just thinking this is where I'm at. This is it. My life is over. I mean, your life is just beginning. I don't care what age you are. If you wanted to just begin and you want to do something different, your life is just beginning, man. Take that step.
We're not too old for this, though.
Right.
I don't care if you're 85 years of age. When you come to a realization that what's around you is negative and not positive, you can do better for yourself.
That's the day you're born.
And it's okay to do that. You know, we'll go back to the beginning when we talked about self-love.
Gotcha.
If you do not know how to love yourself, how are you going to love another? How can you possibly help someone else in their own atmosphere? Right. Even if they're isolate as a person, they're creating something around them, which is an atmosphere. Their aura, their vibe, whatever the case may be, that's an atmosphere still in itself. Right. If you're not healthy to you, how are you going to be healthy for another?
Don't get stuck trying to help everybody, too. I've done that, too. Want to bring everybody up with you. Sometimes it's going to take you, and maybe you can reach back. I don't say reach back down, but that's what you will be doing. Maybe you can reach back down and pull those people up, too. You can be that catalyst, man. So, you know, don't be afraid to do that as well. Don't get stuck like, I got to help this person. I got to be here for this person. I got to do this. And you consuming all that energy of other people, man. Sometimes it takes that step, but you stepping outside of that box, and you might can bring your entire family tree. You might can change that whole entire family tree, man, just by doing something totally different.
Just because we're elevating as people doesn't mean you look down on the person.
Right.
You know, we're all flesh. We're all fallible.
I ain't say look down.
Infallible.
Yeah.
So, you know, right. No.
Never look down your nose. Yeah. Because you can always, what they say, love the janitor just as you love the CEO.
Hey, man, first of all, you should be both.
Yeah, you are both.
Know how to serve.
Right.
Now you're going to bring me back to the whole Jesus concept.
Oh, man, Jesus is always here. He's the reason.
Well, isn't he the one that washed the feet of his disciples, the people he was teaching and raising, so to speak?
Don't you put your foot up here.
Hey, man, I got beautiful feet.
Back to the atmosphere.
Yes, let's get back on track.
Yeah.
So, again, we want to do the best for ourselves by creating an atmosphere around us. We want to try to build people up because that is important. You know, and if we're not investing in people, we're not making the proper sacrifices.
Right.
And again, you got to protect yourself and not over-invest. You don't want them to drain you like a vampire. And next thing you know, you have no life left in you, like they sucked all your blood away.
Always invest in yourself first. You have to invest in yourself first. You cannot, like I said on the previous episode, you can't build a foundation by giving all your bricks away, man. So it starts with you. If you make sure your foundation is solid and strong, then you'll be able to do the work you need to do to help others to do what we're put here to do. We're supposed to help our neighbors.
If you've never built a home, how you gonna help somebody else build one?
Right. The blueprint. That's like your family. People, my family don't support me. I mean, they can't give you advice or support you on something they've never done or thought they never had, man. So sometimes you just take yourself, man, do some research, get out there, meet people, you know what I mean, live life.
But we do that, though. We overstep our boundaries sometimes. You know, sometimes we look at our intellect as high value.
Okay.
You know, let's say you think you're smart. You know, me or you, any person walking the face of the earth. You know, all of a sudden what ends up happening is that humility starts to get erased and we start thinking we know better.
Okay.
But I got to share a biblical principle with you real fast. God said he'll shove all of that human intellect,
I bet,
aside.
I know.
So again, when we start talking about an atmosphere, How positive is the vibe?
How about this, man? Paint a picture. What does your circle look like? Or how would you want your circle to look if you don't have it to the point that you want it?
Well, ideally in my mind, when I see my circle, I see spiritual people. That's foremost the most important thing. Mm-hmm. I see people that will not let me walk off a cliff. In other words, they will not let me damage myself. Mm-hmm. So they're not afraid to speak out, which means we're open to communication and dialogue, right? We're all humble, which means we all get a platform.
Got you.
We all get to speak to each other freely.
Got you.
And here's the other thing. I learned this from the book of Proverbs where, not wearing your heart on your sleeve. In other words, we're not so sensitive that, you say something to me, it's all ended. Like we ended.
Oh, man.
And, from my old background, that meant you got set on fire.
Oh, wow. Oh, God. You had to bring that into the picture, man. Well, when it comes to me and my circle, and my circle's pretty solid now. I'm happy with it. I got other rooms to get into too, though. But rawness, you said it. People who can be raw. When I say raw, I want intellect. I want people who desire that intellect, who may not have graduated to that point yet, but I want people who are open and honest. You don't have to speak a particular language. You don't have to come from a particular background. I can have somebody from the hood in there. I can have somebody who came from a very just rich background, wealthy background in the same room. But when it comes to mindset, they got this person. They got this hustle in them, man. They want this. They have this dream inside of them. But you got this person who was born with a silver spoon and all that. But we collectively in the same room with the same goals. We want to heal. We want to help. We want more. We want to elevate. That's what I want. Raw. I can say, I don't know this. Can you help me? I don't want to pretend like I got to be super smart or whatever. I just open and totally free.
And not treat you like you're stupid, right?
Right.
But see, when you said collective, all I thought of was the word connection. You and I spoke about that. One time we played a little game that you wanted to, hey, here's a word. Let's see how to write about it. Love, connection.
Yeah, remember that.
We kind of broke that down before, but at the end of the day, we have to try to get connected. And that's how we even create an atmosphere. I hope you know an atmosphere is connection. Okay. It's fluid.
It really is.
That is what it is. And it can serve as an umbrella. In other words, as a protection.
Got you.
So if we connect to each other and build such a vibe that we're so bonded as people, we're protected as well.
All right. I have to be around people with an empire state of mind. Because, you would get tired of hearing me talk. That's all I talk about. My vision, my dream, my purpose, what God has me to do. So I sound like a broken record. If you're like not on the same thing and you're not thinking that high and thinking that big, I wouldn't be in the right room for you and I wouldn't be the right circle for you. You wouldn't enjoy being around me. And right now I have that. When I walk around the people I'm around, I'm hearing talk about real estate and talk about taxes and stocks and how to retire the proper way and how you do this when you're buying a house, man. That's just the kind of place I want to be in.
So you keep talking about people that keep building you up, edifying you, inspiring you.
Right.
That when they see your potential within you, they're not afraid to speak on it. They're not negative toward that. In other words, when they see your dreams or hear your vision, they don't criticize it and say, "Oh, you can't do that."
Oh no. Even if they've never done it, man, they like, interesting. They're open to it. They're open to hearing what I have to say or whatever. I even have people that want to have parts of it. Be like, oh, that sounds. Let me know if you do that.
Because they felt your influence.
Yeah, they want to invest in it. Let me know when you do that. You let me know, man. I got your back. So that's the type of people I like to be around, man.
Because your vision was a conviction.
I guess, man. It was so big. I believed it so much it made them believe.
Right. And that's one of the things that we have to do for ourselves first. If we're not loving ourselves, we mentioned this already. See, the only way you can love another is love yourself.
Okay.
The only way to accomplish a dream is to believe.
True.
If you have no belief or no conviction, how can you, right?
Exactly, man.
And so how can you inspire another to do such?
Right. But just be the best version of you, man. And to be the best version of you got to have that great energy around you. You can't just sit there and just settle. You got to be open to different things, man. What they say, everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. Let me repeat that one more time. Everything you ever wanted is on the other side of fear. So if you're totally comfortable, that means you're not existing at your highest level. I'm sorry. Get uncomfortable. Let's get out here and do it. Let's get in these circles. Let's have these uncomfortable conversations. Let's make these uncomfortable moves, things we don't want to do, and let's make it happen, man. We all have it in us, man. It's about what you do with it. That's it.
Right, and the right people around you will make it happen even more faster.
All right, man. Then look at us. We said, we're going to start keeping these a little short. We ain't want to keep you guys long, man. Any words before we get out of here, Stro?
Man, all I want to say is do the best for yourself. and through yourself inspire others to do the same.
Right.
When you have people like that around you, show real love, genuine love.
Right.
Edify each other, and do not let your friend walk off a cliff.
Got you.
And you have that type of atmosphere,
right.
I think we'll transcend and ascend higher than we could ever be.
I want to say, and don't let the opinions of others stop you, because when you're doing this, like I say, people are going to look at you like, they think they're good, they think they're doing this because they're not doing it. Don't let that stop you, man. You got to keep moving. You got to have tunnel vision, and you got to do what you put here to do, man. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. You're going to have that. Every successful person has had strife. Every successful person has people talking about you. What they say, any publicity is good publicity, so let them keep talking, man. But you guys know what just happened. As usual, you just got stroked, man.
Come with it.
Come with it, man. Don't forget, y'all know, go follow, subscribe. Make sure you do that. Follow and subscribe. I would like you to like too, but the most important is follow and subscribe. Go to @STROK'D, STROK'D _ the podcast, @STROK'D, STROK'D _ the podcast, and share, man. Share with your friends, share with your family, share with anybody you think will enjoy this message. And I want you guys to be on the lookout. We're about to drop something really special, man. And a lot of you business owners, I think you guys are going to enjoy this. So be on the lookout, man. You know what happened, man. Let's get out of here. Good night.
Good night.